And there, this is Mixers Prime, and going for the third batch of zoopedia entries that the state being released, and it's also going in a order. Also, the blue waterways has its zoopedia image revealed, and not really that much to say, but it's that it's revealed. So released this week. And now we got what's seen the traditional pair of returning and to just be confirmed. They're both exhibit animals, just like with last week. So what here is the common blue tongues or common blue tongue skinks, which I do think is an interesting. Since originally apparently one, there was the eastern blue tongue skink, which is a subspecies of common blue tongue skink, and it was the exhibit animal for the Australia pack. But they decided to go for the non-specific route, which I do think makes more sense since most places don't specify which subspecies of blue have. But it's somewhat a surprise addition on this, considering that it's not as iconic as the frill lizard or as commonly kept as a pet as the central bearded dragon when taking into account the Australian lizards. It doesn't seem slightly fair, though I wasn't the biggest fan of the Isabu. Yeah, it's I think about it. It's there you go. It's in the game. So another exhibit animal confirmed. So it's still being that all the exhibit speed to all returning ones yet to have an entirely new exhibit animals confirmed. And then what I think is interesting choice to be at the Eurasian or European brown bear. So, in one of the screenshots that was released with was announced, there was a statue of a brown bear. Now, it wasn't certain which subspecies of brown it was, but it seems to be that it's supposed to be a different subspecies of brown bear, the European brown bear, which does make it that already actually have a better Europe rost suit than with the first game, which does seem to have led to the sacrifice of North America being barely represented in Plan 2 at launch, which again does make me feel bad. Yes, but but European brown. It's species brown was to go for, since it is the most commonly kept she's a brown bear in Europeans. And what I could tell, it does have a far better model than it had in the first. Way better model in terms of first impressions, which both brown bears were bad. The first game, and Himalayan brown bear was even worse because it had the exact pretty much the same model as the grizzly bear, but slightly paler, which looked nothing like Himalayan brown bear, and it was. There's a really good quality. It looked far too cartoonish, far too chunky. They have got a more accurate coloration and proportions, which is great. And then we've got the other, so just reconfirm Fantasy 2, the golden poison dart frog, which somewhat of as a. So now poison dart frogs, that's an type of exhibit you'd expect to have a seriously, if that's the type a veneer that you expect to see in zoos, but I thought that with the multiple different species of poison darts that you would see in zoos, that zoo would reserve the golden poison darts for DLC and prioritize the blue poison darts for the strawberry poison darts or the green and black poison darts or bits. The golden poison darts for is making a comeback, which it is one more well-known species and one will come cat ones, and it's the largest and dangerous species of poison darts for. Well, so it's in here though. It might be a little bit glossier than in the scale though. I think of what I can tell doesn't seem to be that different to the original, which that's not. So I think the golden poison dart for the first game was one of the weakest amphibians. I think and the fully accurate. I thought that maybe it would have a bit of a different model. It's no. And then we got the only aquatic from this batch to be revealed, but it's one that's already been confirmed. The finally got the zoopedia entry for what is highly advertised the aquarium animal, the Hawksbill sea turtle. Right, and now we move on to the that was teased last week to be in this batch, the lion, which was originally referred to as African lion, but it's now simply referred to as lion, so by this is a non-specific lion. I've already mentioned my choice to just have not specific lion. It's specific. So, well, the Asian lion was part of top 100 most wanted animals of this game. But it's the model, this is a highly anticipated one, considering that the West African lion from the first game was widely considered to be the habitat of the game. Now, I personally don't think that, and I do feel like it's a very it's an overheated animal, but this new model, it's definitely, it's a much better looking lion. Yeah, the main look definitely looks a lot much better. Now, I wouldn't say this is a remaster, not just because this is a non-specific line, unlike the first game having the West African line specifically, but also, so what I could tell, the model seems to more specifically resemble the Southeast African lion, judging by the color ratio. It's mostly sort of the front being pale color, then it goes to the back. It's dark. I mean, it could just be the lighting here, but I do sort of get the vibe that this is the model resembles the Southeast African lion, which I do think in comparison is a much better line to go for, since it is the line that has the white form, and it's, I think, as far as I'm aware of, it's the most commonly kept line in North American zoos. That's I think it's probably the only type of lion that you would see in North American zoos. Now to think about it, it's the Reigning 2 actually that had just been released there from animals that have already been confirmed, and we've seen the models for. Lots of the plain zebra, which it's not the best image. It looks a bit weird. I mean, in other So as seen in the announcement, the gameplay trailer does look better than this. And now got the one for the rare. Here's another peon animal. And there we go, that's all I have to say about this. Again, just firstly, so mostly got out of the for to be confirmed. It's just take into account the habitat loss, although I've already had a brown record there. So prior to two wasn't certain what subspecies it was, and now I know it's the European subspecies, unless in some point in the future gets another subspecies of brown bear. Bring back the grizzly bear. And got a pair of returning exhibitors. That's this. She says confirmed, and of course also have been built. So it's all fixed.